Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. It's a delight to welcome you to the very first episode of the Poems I Love for the year 2026. Today, I will be sharing four poems with you. These are poems that I believe were really simple and accessible for me in the when I came across them. They were not just simple; they were heavy with meanings. But I believe that these are not poems that I need to tell a lot of backstories and, you know, explanations and justifications as to why I chose them. Because somehow I sort of feel that they are self evident. So, the first poem is from the South Sudanese poet, Taban Liyong. Then, after that, I would read two poems from the Moroccan poet, Abdellatif Laâbi. Then I'll bring this episode to a close by reading a recent poem of mine. And I'm happy you're here to join us. You're here with us today. You're watching this, you're listening to this. I hope that you would enjoy these poems. The first one is titled With Purity at Nothing Being Won by the South Sudanese poet Taban Liyong from his poetry collection Another Dead. With purity at nothing been won. Grace came not through purity. Christ died through the impure. Only with impurity at Japan moved ahead. The American beast came about through things impure. Purity kills creativity in the womb. Impurity spreads with health. Eve ate the apple for impurity's sake. My heart, bless thyself. Thou truckest not with things that are pure. Impurity fills you up like angels of God. Thou art greater than earth and hell. For impurity limited the child in the cradle. Impurity is boundless like my soul. I'll move to the second poem, which is titled One Hand Isn't Enough to Write With. One Hand Isn't Enough to Write With by the Moroccan poet Abdellatif Laâbi. This poem and the next one I will be reading were originally written in French, but they were translated into English by Andrea Nafis Sahali. One hand isn't enough to write with these days. It takes two, and the second needs to quickly grasp the craft of the unspeakable, to embroider the name of a star that will rise after the next apocalypse, to see the unbreakable thread among thousands, to weave from the fabric of passions, swaddling bands, overcoats, winding clothes, to carve a beginning from a pile of waste. Two hands aren't enough to write these days. With its grinding mysteries, it will take 3 or 4 for life to bother visiting this wretched white wasteland. The third poem I will be reading today is also by the same Moroccan poet, Abdellatif Laâbi, also translated from French to English by Andre Nafi Sahali. And it is titled Knowledge is Unforgiving. Knowledge is unforgiving. Knowledge is unforgiving. It gnaws at you. What are you guilty of? Something forgotten or overdone? To feel yourself burning with the words you draped over the unnameable, pinned to your seat while sipping your coffee. Dare to say it. Despite being free of evil, you are its hostage. Can we melt the executioner's earth, change human nature? No one has the answer. Redemption, redemption, you murmur. That insoluble equation. The third poem I'll be reading is also by the Moroccan poet Abdellatif Laâbi. Like the second poem I just read, it was originally written in French and translated to English by Andre Nafis Sali. It is titled Knowledge is Unforgiving. Knowledge is unforgiving. It gnaws at you. What are you guilty of? Something forgotten or overdone? To feel yourself burning with the words you draped over the unnameable, pinned to your seat while sipping your coffee. Dare to say it. Despite being free of evil, you are its hostage. Can we melt the executioner's act? Change human nature? No one has the answer. Redemption, redemption. You murmur that insoluble equation. Okay, the final poem I'll be reading for today is a poem of mine written at the end of the year 2025, which passed some days ago. And it is titled, Looking at the New Year Through a Stained Glass Window. There is no magic to the end of a year. I watched it start. I am watching it end. I am the mother or the father of an abiku, unperturbed by beginnings or endings, knowing these cycles offer an ineffectual joy that the wind soon blows away. Yes, this passing year has been a mother to me. More than a mother, it has blessed me with the tenderness only grandparents give. You would have thought I lived in abundance, but I could not even spell that word when the year began. Still, it was joy enough to drink from the ancestral wells of my people before marauders and terrorists overran the lands where our stories once lived. Across the street, in the churches, hundreds of worshippers armed with resolutions and prayer requests are praying their way into the new year. The Spirit mounts the prophets. They wail and wail in the ritual of prophecies, wild declarations soon forgotten when morning's merriment comes. I, too, am preparing, quietly, to receive all the goodness that will come my way. I spent the last decade purging the lies I was taught to believe about myself. Now I walk this earth knowing I have a right to be here, and I will make every footstep count. Through this stained glass window I have made of my life, I hope to see the beauty I have etched in its colored panes, and someday, somehow, make music as sweet as a bird's out of it. So, this brings me to the end of today's episode of the Poems I Love. I hope you had a good time. I hope that you enjoyed the poems I have shared today. The Poems I Love comes up every Wednesday by 6 p.m. on our YouTube and Spotify channels. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.